It's 12:22.
We're on. We are live. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. You are tuned in, on, tapped in, tuned on. You are
Tapped in.
tapped in,
Tapped
right?
in.
To transitions, life lessons, and legacy. I am Hyacinth Henderson. I am joined with Mr. Robert Henderson Jr.
Your pops.
Yes. I don't know
Yes.
if you want me to introduce you or you're just going to introduce
Yes,
yourself.
I'm Robert Henderson Jr., certified financial planner,
Kinda.
certified tax coach, and the founder of the Henderson Financial Group, Henderson Realty, and Henderson Insurance. And we're so happy to be here today with you. We have a fantastic topic to talk about, one that should resonate and give you a new thought because it does not leave anyone untouched. You should be touched by this conversation. And we want you to share this conversation because I don't think too many people have had this kind of conversation before. What do you think?
No, I feel like we've discussed it live on the air before.
In a certain way.
But then again, who knows? But I don't know if people really sit around and have these types of conversations.
No, it's really good stuff.
It's amazing stuff. It's stuff that can help you move forward.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about. Look at everybody coming in today.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, happy Wednesday. We got Meg. What's up, Meg? Patrick, good old Pat is live and in color. DeLawrence Moore. Miss Redhead is
Mr.
here.
Redhead, yes.
Thank you so much. By the way, Miss Redhead, thank you again for sharing the summer camp. She had texted me a few weeks ago about this summer camp for your grandson, and it's an away camp. And so when I shared it with his dad, he was like, your son, whatever. So sure enough, originally he shot it down.
Right.
However, he's come back to me twice and asked about the camp. And last time he said, I think I'm going to try that summer camp.
How far away is it?
I can't remember where it is. Mr. Redhead, don't type the name. No, it's not in the state.
Oh.
It's not in the state. So what I'll probably do is do a mother-son trip with him to that state. Because, he's like this with us. He's like, I'm going to be away from my family. And I said, well, we'll just start with the 2-week session first. So anyway, Miss Redhead, thank you for sharing that.
When I was his age, I went to a camp all by myself. And I absolutely changed my whole perspective, my life, everything.
Wow.
And it was such an amazing, and we were going for a week.
Wow. This camp is even my daughter, she was like, oh my gosh, look at this stuff. You sure you don't want to do this? The activities that they do.
We did canoeing, archery,
that kind of stuff.
hayride.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
We studied, we studied scripture.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have scripture in
man.
This.
Yeah, because it was by church. And I came back, I was quoting scripture because every day we had to learn one.
Oh my goodness.
My mother's like, holy cow. And I learned so much and had a big lake. We went canoeing.
They do canoeing, archery as well.
Yeah.
So at first he was like, no, but he's been opening up. And I'm so proud of him to being open for the idea. And I said, well, keep thinking about it. We'll go visit this summer and then get you enrolled for next summer.
I was 11 years old. So why are you going to go with them?
No, to visit just the state. It's in a different state.
Oh, okay.
Right. Before I enrolled him in Taekwondo, he didn't want to do that either because he's very to us. And so we went and checked it out first. I had him ask questions and now he loves Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So, and I reminded him of that. I said, remember you didn't want to do Taekwondo at first because of what you had heard about it, because he doesn't like to be yelled at. So, anyway, Pat says, sounds like Robert wants to go.
Hey, Patrick, it's bringing back memories, man. I was like all alone. It was so good. And then we all went to this mess hall where we eat, they had good food, everybody, all kids from all over. And, we had a little council, each of us. And then we slept in like bunk beds.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I think it'd be good for him.
It was so good. I was 11 years old.
Wow.
It really, really helped me a great deal. And it was away from my parents, my mother rather.
Well, we'll see, because if he does it next year, he'll be 12. So right around the same age.
Yes.
So we will see. So again, thank you so much for that information, Mrs. Redhead. It's phenomenal. We'll see where it takes us next year. So today we are going to get in, and before we get into our topic, there is time for family also. Yeah. And so you're right, for the camp, I would have to drop him off when I go.
Okay.
But before we get into our topic, we want to say welcome back to all of our loyal listeners and viewers. Thank you so much for being here with us, and thank you for your commitment to yourself. And then we want to welcome our newcomers. And so for those of you who may not know, we are the Henderson Financial Group. We have a full service financial planning and investment. Feels like I'm slouching. Full service financial planning and investment advisory firm. We are based in sunny South Florida. However, we have clients all over. You can learn more about us by visiting www.thehendersonfinancialgroup or giving us a call at 305-825-1414. 44.
Yes.
All right, so now let's get into the topic.
Yes, yes. And those you all for the first time listen to us today on Wednesday, my daughter and myself, Hyacinth, we talk more and we explore more about mind stuff.
Mhm.
Who are you? Why do you think the way you think? You know, what are your fears? How to overcome them? And we just have conversations, more like it's like mental therapy. So, and we
Mhm.
feel like this is a prerequisite in order to get your financial house in order. You got to get your mind in order first.
Mhm.
And most people say, hey, when I get money, then I'll start thinking about that stuff. No, 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 no. Money is the effect. The mind, your thoughts are the cause of money, which money is the effect. So that's the cause and effect. So first you want to say, okay, listen, you got to get your mind right. That's why scripture says a fool and their money should surely part. You don't want to be a fool. So you want to get more control of the cause, which is you. All right. And
Yes.
this is what we talk about on Wednesday, but on Saturday, what we talk about, Icy?
Understanding money.
That's right.
On Saturday, it's money, money, money. It's for that moment, it's all about the money. I kind of, my inner being was like, it's not all about the money in some ways. So the programming on Saturday is all about the money. You start off at 9 a.m. with the Understanding Money show. And then at 10:15, Understanding Money Part 2. So you got 2 hours
Yes.
of just money talk.
Ah, man,
That's
unscripted,
amazing.
unscripted, just from the heart, from experience. Been doing this 37 years. And last Saturday, you know, because you all can go back and check it out and you can share it. I delved down into what is Medicare, what all the world of Medicare. What is Medicare, Medicare Advantage plan, what's a supplemental plan? And usually, you know, you got to be at least 65 years old. I talked about that. Then part 2, Antonio Woodbury came in and talked about that. And he joined James T and myself. And we also talked about Social Security.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yes.
That's a big one, especially now with so many people shifting to entrepreneurship,
Yes.
leaving their jobs.
Yes.
And so are you not going to be paying into the Social Security system?
Yes.
What's going to happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. Like, hey, listen, I'm the handyman. I ain't paying. I getting all cash. But hey, if the washer don't get you the rinse and wheel, because if you're not putting money away and paying the Social Security, that payroll taxes, then man, later on, you're gonna get got.
Yeah.
And you're gonna say, what happened? Why didn't somebody tell me? So I want you all to check that out. Go back and listen to last Saturday's pro. It's gonna stay up forever because it's on Facebook. That's one thing I like about Facebook.
Well, unless someone tears, never mind. My mind was going out there. I just pictured a big mushroom cloud and
okay.
Well, but it'll be up forever.
Go and check it out. It's educational. You can listen to it in your car anytime, 1 o'clock in the morning, however you want to, but it's really educational. Okay, so today's topic is the mind.
Oh, your 5 senses. I'm like, what is today's topic? Are you being controlled? Are your 5 senses controlling you?
Yes.
And so the 5 senses are see, taste, touch, smell, and hear.
That's right.
What role do the 5 senses play in your life? I believe that they play a very large role, more than they should.
Yeah, because you know, we take it for granted. You know, when you're a kid, they teach you about the 5 senses. We have to learn about that, right? But we don't really, we take it for granted, you know. But the 5 senses can help you out, and they come and can help you in. And I think that, matter of fact, I know that a lot of us are not conscious on how powerful they are. It can really be a detriment. Your 5 senses can be a detriment. So let's talk about the first one.
Which one? Sight. Okay, let's do that.
You know, a lot of times what you see can get you in trouble. You believe that? I saw it. I was at home, but then a commercial about Red Lobster, all you could eat, came on TV, and I saw it. And all of a sudden, my mind said, I want Red Lobster, all you could eat. Now I'm going to spend some money. That was a control. Even though you said, no, I don't have to. I want to go, but you had help. And that comes from your sight. Sight is good. But most people let sight control them unknowingly. And because I wasn't going to spend this money, but I went to the mall and I saw this. If I hadn't saw that, if Tommy hadn't told me he bought a brand new car and I saw it, I wouldn't have went into my bank account and bought one too. You know what I mean? So sometimes sight really controls. And I wanted to have this conversation because we got to know we really have to become and start knowing who we are ourselves. We are greater than our five senses.
Mhm.
We really are. And we think that our five senses are us, but our five senses are not. We have dominion over our five senses. If you really want to know who you are, you got to take some control. When we get to taste, I want to talk to you about how you are fasting during Ramadan
Mhm.
and you're controlling that
Mhm.
taste. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure you've seen or you thought about stuff, restaurants and all that,
Mhm.
and you had to say, no,
I mean,
being
y'all be cooking. What y'all be cooking downstairs? It's gotten so keen. My sense of smell,
yes.
especially now during the day, and it's so interesting because my sense of smell is not 1,000% back since my experience with COVID.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot that I can't smell. However, when y'all be cooking in there,
Yes.
I'm like,
You
ooh,
smell the garlic, you smell all that,
yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Going back to sight really quickly, as you were speaking and giving examples, I wanted to share with the audience. It made me remember a real life example that I had years ago. Years ago, I don't know if you remember this, there was this CPA that we were working with. And, we had a conversation and we said, we need to start doing stuff together. And we were building, and I would go over to the office like once
Oh
a
yeah,
week or something
right,
like that.
right,
Right. So
right.
their office was in Broward County, offices in Dade County.
Fort Lauderdale,
For
right.
right. So anyway, we had to meet for dinner to discuss some things.
Right.
And so we would come, we had everything planned out. And we went to dinner. I never forget, we went to dinner at Dave and Buster's. And he was sitting on that side of the table. I was sitting, and we were just literally having a conversation, talking business only. Well, after that, I noticed a disconnect a little bit. And I'm like, what happened? We had these plans mapped out and things. He later confessed to me or confided to me months later that someone had saw him in Dave and Buster's with me, had told his wife.
Wow.
And so, whatever, that's why we did. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, it
Wow.
wasn't even like that in a little bit.
Wow.
But here it is. We didn't continue with our business plans because of what someone saw with their two eyes
Right.
and what they went and told. And kudos to him for saying, you know what? I don't need this headache. I don't want to be beefing with her in my marriage. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let me just cut it out. But if you want to think about that, I know that everything happens the way it's supposed to, but imagine the business deals, the amount of money we could have made together had someone not with their two eyes judge what they saw in their two eyes.
That's right. That's
right.
right. That's right.
So could have done such great things, but everything turns out the way that it was supposed to. So that's the example.
You saw that. What I see.
Mm-hmm.
I want you all to think about what have you saw, a scene. How has it affected or changed your thoughts in your life? Really, and I think about someone says, hey man, I can't play the piano because I need to see the piano. I need to see the keys and the notes. Well, that's absolutely not true because you have examples. Stevie Wonder, you have Ray Charles, So that proves when you believe that you cannot play the piano because you can't see the notes, that's your limitation. You've accepted that, but it's already been proven that you don't really need to see the black and white keys in order to play it. Now that is amazing, right?
Absolutely.
So a lot of us really, we've become slaves to our five senses.
Where people also do this, they see their current situation, their current financial situation.
Oh, that's good, Icy.
They look at it and they make future decisions based on their current financial position.
Yes.
And not even talking about, we can talk about this retirement. Well, I currently am employed and I make $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year. Why do I have to worry about retirement? Because right now I'm making all this money.
Right.
So I'm making my decision in the future, a future decision based on what I currently see. And it happens a lot on the flip side as well. When people want to excel and go beyond and expand, and they're like, I can't do that. I only make $20 a month. Or whatever the case may be. They're like, well, I can't afford to do that. And I oftentimes have to tell people, your income is not fixed.
Yes.
You can change your income at any time you want to change your income. And I think that is one of the ones that people see right in front of them. And they just use that. Well, I make $1,000 a week. That's all I can do because I make $1,000 a week.
Or they don't see any way out. Because they say,
they don't see that they could make more.
No,
like,
they can't see it. Because look at the numbers.
Right. They're looking at the numbers.
The sight of the numbers.
The sight of the numbers.
Yes. The sight
that happens.
Isn't that amazing? So if you just join us, we're talking about how the five senses can be your friend, but it really can be your enemy. And I think the five senses have really, really enslaved a lot of us, and we not even know that we're a slave to our five senses. And we think that our five senses is us. We're separate from our five senses. I want you all to really get that. Okay, don't just comb over that so fast. Don't brush over that. I want you to really dissect that and think and have a come to Jesus moment with yourself. And think about that. What you see controls so much of what you do and what you feel and what you think. That is sight. Imagine if you couldn't see it. Imagine. Would you feel the same way about it? Would you look at somebody and be envious of her and him? Would you? No, that envy will go away because you can't see it. So I'm not saying sight is bad. Sight is a tool, but it's not you. And a lot of us have become slaves and victims to sight. Isn't that something? Okay, let me get another example. I want you all to do your own thought, and I want you to do your own thinking when we just bring these up. That it's an exercise for you to get interactive with yourself and ask yourself questions. The sign of wisdom is asking a lot of questions, being honest. Why do I feel like this? And I want you to take a look at your life and see how sight has improved it or have caused you problems. Okay.
You know, where in other area that people do this is like in dating or dating.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's tall, dark, and handsome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she had the butt from here to South Africa.
And he's total idiot.
Right.
Total idiot.
Right. Or they're driving this type of car.
Yeah.
Or this, or all these things like that. People do that a lot and on social media, like in the dating groups or the dating apps and stuff. And it's just like, gosh, it's unfortunate because yes, you look cute on a picture, but I know that it's like,
and you know how many handsome guys are in prison? Handsome. I mean, handsome in prison. They're in prison. They did all kind of naughty stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous women are in prison because they've done all kind of stuff. So that sight. Why did you go with that person? Why did you get with that person? Because they were just so fine.
I'm here, and we're hearing that a lot about women, men feeling like they don't even want to approach women anymore because they have let their sight, right, the things that they're able to do, women are able to do, such as hair, makeup, enhancements, and stuff like that. They have allowed that to fool themselves into thinking like those enhancements are really who they are.
Yeah, it has just overshadowed everything.
Right.
It's just everything.
Right.
Forget about anything else. Just look at me.
Right. And so I'm hearing men say, like, I don't like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I approach someone who thinks that just this, and this? Yes. And then now I have to like bring her down to earth. And these are respectful men. It's like, I don't want to do that with a woman, Right. So now what's happening is men are slowing down on, approaching women, but that's a different thing. That sight thing, man. That's interesting.
The sight can really, and you really have to look at yourself and see how much power sight has over you in a negative way. You really, really have to. Now, in order to do this exercise that we're talking about, you really got to be honest with yourself. You cannot be lying to yourself. You can lie to everybody else, but don't lie to yourself. Anytime you start lying to yourself, then you are doomed.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, but you got to be honest with yourself. Okay, so we talked about sight. What was the next sense that we want to talk about?
You want to go into taste?
Let's go into taste. Oh my God. If we could just look around in America and see taste is really doing it. I mean, half the people are overweight, right? Taste is a mother, boy. Taste, oh my goodness.
Here's so this past Sunday, the American holiday is the Christian holiday. I don't know if it's American. The Christian holiday is Easter. And so what I noticed is that although I don't celebrate these holidays, my inner being remembers the habit, the subconscious remembers. So I realized that during holidays, I'm always wanting soul food. Always. And I'm not cooking it, but I always want it, right? So anyway, Sunday, I had this strong urge for like macaroni and cheese, yams, collard greens, like all this stuff, cornbread. And I was like, okay. So anyway, I went to the licking.
Oh.
Right. And so I ordered my lobster. And then she's like, what size?
Sundown?
Yeah, of course. Sundown. Yeah.
Sundown.
Yeah. So after sunset, this is like 9:00 at night. No, probably later than that, like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Oh man, heavy food at that night?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But I got it. Right. So I'm like, okay, let me go over there and see. So I went and I ordered the lobster. And she's like, what are your two sides? And I'm like, macaroni and cheese and yams. And then I'm like, who? Okay, take off the macaroni and cheese, just yams.
Those are 2 carbs, right?
Well, I love carbs. Me and
Okay.
carbs get along, but the
Okay.
dairy.
Okay.
So you may have heard me, and the listeners may have heard me talk about how dairy does my body and things like that. So the dairy is absolutely no for me, and you too, because you're blood type A. So it's like macaroni and cheese and yams. And so I said, take the yams off, and I'll take fries instead, right?
Ooh.
But the point
Macaroni
is,
cheese and fries?
no, I took take the macaroni and cheese off.
Okay.
So I was not giving in to my desire to taste the macaroni and cheese, which macaroni and cheese is one of my all-time favorite foods, which is why I learned how to cook it so well, because I loved it. So I gave up. I want to taste the macaroni and cheese. However, because I am on Ramadan, I'm observing Ramadan. I'm going long periods of time without eating. Also, I have been getting regular colonics. So my body has been cleansed from fasting. Then I had just got a colonic on Friday.
Oh.
So imagine if I put this cheese
Oh my goodness.
in my body
Oh,
when my body already rejects cheese,
oh man,
when it's not as clean as it is now.
Disruption.
So I had to, it was going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I had to make a decision and say, do I really want to give into the taste? Because I know the taste is going to
Be a
taste
slave to the taste.
so good.
Yes.
Or did I need to forward think and say, girl, you know that cheese on a good day don't do your body good.
The effect is going to be massive.
And now your system is like squeaky clean. I did a foot detox and the lady was like, oh, you clean. I was like, I know. Right. So you're going to put that on. So the taste, I at that point I had to disconnect and not be a slave to my taste. And also that inner feeling that was like, dang, it's a Christian holiday. You're supposed to be eating soul food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So taste, as you started talking about, I think it's such a strong sense that people really risk their lives around. I had a conversation with someone about a month ago, and he was complaining about, he's had surgery, he gets steroid shots and all this, and his back, and you're calling me, telling me this, and I said to him, I said, so you're just choosing food over life?
Yeah. I mean, those of y'all who are just Mario, thank you for dropping in, Mario, June, Danny. We're right now we're on taste, but the subject today we're talking about, we think that's so important that we really ought to be honest with ourselves. I just want to let you guys know that you are not your 5 senses. Most of us have become slave unknowingly, subconsciously. We have become slaves to our 5 senses. Now, our 5 senses we learned since we was in grade school are very, very important. We all use them, the ones that we have. Some of us don't have hear or sight or whatever. So if you don't have sight, then believe it or not, it's like a blessing in disguise, because you get away from a whole lot of stuff that the perils of seeing things. Now we're talking about the perils of taste. And so we're going to go over each of the 5 senses. We want you all to think also with us about your own situation, how the 5 senses have helped you and how it has been a detriment to you. Okay. And all of us are affected. No one is unaffected by by the 5 senses. Okay. So Heisey just talked about taste, and we just know from just the health, just the hospitals. I mean, how so many people in terms of dieting, how so many people have high cholesterol and diabetes and just have, a lot of stuff that deals with health. I mean, in our insurance company, we have some good people that need to get a nice insurance policy, one with living benefits. And a lot of times they can't qualify because of their bad habits in terms of the taste and their eating habits. And people just say, hey, I can't stop. I want this, I can't just eat one chip. I got to eat the whole bag. And so we want to have this conversation to point out so you can know that you are not your 5 senses. You are stronger. The creator of the heavens and the universe made us to have dominion over everything. And we have got to start taking and having dominion over ourselves in those 5 senses. Now I'm gonna tell you who plays on those 5 senses, and they're like drug dealers or controllers, and that's the media. The media. I mean, taste, that's why they're coming up. When we got right now, it's like foodies. When I was coming up, they didn't have food, wasn't like a designer foods and stuff, I mean, you got the chefs, you got it's all on TV, apple pie, a la mode, all kind. They got stuff now that I never even heard of. Taste this, taste that, taste that, and as you taste it, and then it does not digest well. So it's making us sick. And you don't even think about the shelf life and stuff they're putting inside of the food. They're killing us. And all from the taste. And they hiding their hands. I didn't make you do it.
That's
You
right.
did it.
That's 1,000% correct. You did it.
I didn't make you kill yourself. You did.
So how you can tell by your body. Your body will tell you. Your
Yes.
body will tell you how you feel. And so Mr. Henderson and I shared, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, we encouraged you all to detox from different things, like give up certain things to just see how your body feels. So if you think about what you're saying about this whole foodie thing and they're dressing and all this stuff up. Last night I went to dinner. You know, they have a new Planta in Fort Lauderdale. Remember, Planta is the one. Yes.
You took us to that restaurant. It was
South Beach.
so good. Now it's in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, but it's Planta Queen, so it has different menu. So it's Asian inspired dumplings, things like that, right?
Okay.
So at first, you eat all the clean food because I broke fast there, right? So you have like the beets and all this stuff like that. Let me tell you, me and fine dining, we got a close relationship. So and the table. Anyway, so I'm eating like the beets, the avocado, all these things, the fresh juice, all this. And initially I didn't order the bang bang broccoli. And I was like, oh, I want the bang bang broccoli. So we had like maybe 4 or 5 different things and the table next to us, like we can see them looking like this is a lot of food.
And Planta, y'all, is a vegan restaurant.
Everything plant-based.
Everything plant-based.
Everything plant-based, right? So we had all types of stuff. So then I said, okay, let me just get the bang bang broccoli. When I brought that broccoli, that thing was sauced and tossed. Everything, right? So here it is. And I said, this has the nutritional value is gone because they fried it.
Oh,
they lightly fried it,
broccoli,
but then they sauced it, tossed it. And wouldn't you know, after I ate that, now all of a sudden I'm full because my body's not digesting it the way it was digesting the clean
broccoli, right?
Vegan food,
right?
And instantly got a headache. Oof. So here it is. You would think, oh, I'm at a vegan restaurant. I'm this and this. So to your point of the marketing and all these things like that and saying, well, it's good for you. They've gotten very creative with it.
Yes.
You have to listen to your body.
Yes.
And you have to know your body.
It is a war out there to kill you. It is a silent war. They're killing us. It's a war. They showing us what we see with our eyes, what we tasting. They are killing us, man. I'm telling you. It is a war out there. And they're smiling like, hey, you suffering your own self.
That's right.
Individually, and the hospital says, wow, they're getting sicker and sicker.
And the hospitals are getting richer and richer.
Richer and richer. They're charging so much. Oh my God, everything costs this inflation. Hey, man, the hospital prices are going up. Can you believe that? Everybody just charging. You either gonna have or have not.
That's exactly what it is.
So
exactly what it is.
The first sense that controls us is sight. I want you to take a look at that and see how much of it's controlling you. How strong you are against sight, what you see. Then taste. That's a big one. I see taste. Man, taste got it. Taste is a hell of a weapon, man. That taste, man, you got to be a strong mother to say, I'm gonna push past that. You know
Listen,
that's a weapon, man. The enemy, oh my God, them senses right there.
Are you know what has a hold on me? The shackles. I need to be the release from the shackles of having something sweet every time I eat.
Oh, dessert?
After I eat, just something sweet.
Antonio like that too, man. He just got to have
something
dessert,
sweet. Ramadan has helped me remember the dates because dates, you eat dates?
Yes.
They are so just raw dates.
Yes, sweet.
So sweet. And Trader Joe's has this Trader Joe's has this dark chocolate. It's called a sunflower cup. So so like a Reese's buttercup,
right.
But my son is allergic to peanut butter.
Right.
So it's dark chocolate and it's sunflower seed butter.
Wow.
So he can eat that. And it's a cleaner something sweet. But when you say like our taste and stuff, like I can eat a salad, salmon. I gotta have something sweet. Good thing it's that kind of stuff instead of donuts or something.
Taste. Are you a slave to your taste? To taste? Can you control? Can you commit?
It's a big one.
I just finished doing a 20-day cleanse where I just ate raw, couldn't have no sugar. Had to be uncooked food, salads, and that was really a mental thing for me. So what you want to do, ask yourself how much trouble or how much problems, how is taste controlling you? Does it really control you? Can you Not just eat one. Do you have to keep eating them?
Especially if you're on medication.
Or even drinking, yeah.
Especially if you take any kind of medication for any kind of ailment, you definitely need to say, do I want to change what I eat?
Yes.
Or I just want to keep tasting this.
And alcohol, a beer, a liquor, or whatever. All that's taste, but that touches on feelings too. So we'll get to that. So taste is a slave master. So what's the next one we're gonna go to?
Sight, taste. Let's use smell.
Oh man. Smell.
Scent.
I smell. Well, you know what? Smell really correlates really well with taste, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you was in your office, and I mean, let me tell you something. Antonio and Tavares, they're just spice masters.
So yeah.
Oh man, they could they could dress up anything with spices,
and it tastes so good.
Oh my goodness. and we have a
full oven.
A full oven. I bought a full oven and put it in the kitchen. And man, sometimes we don't go out. We just go buy something. Them guys can, by the time they put the spices and herbs on whatever it is, it just tastes magnificent.
Let me ask you a question. I think I know the answer to this. Last week, as I was observing Ramadan and not eating during the day,
okay,
I saw that you all had made a pizza.
A pizza?
A pizza or some kind of flatbread.
Right.
And when I went into the kitchen there was something in the trash, I noticed that the pizza scissors was used to cut the pizza.
Yes.
Was that you?
Yes.
I knew it was you.
How did you know it was me?
Because as you're talking about Antonio and Tavares being spice masters and seasoning, I was like, I wonder if the audience realizes that he don't cook. Like, he don't cook. This is what's going on in my mind. And then I said, someone who doesn't cook would use regular scissors to cut the pizza instead of food scissors. regular scissors. We're gonna cut the paper with it, and we're gonna cut this pizza with it.
I just want to cut it.
I thought it was you.
I grew up poor. I just want to cut it.
Okay, regular scissors, y'all. Okay,
cut it.
Right. So
that was a flat bread pizza with garlic and mushrooms and I think it was spinach
and paper shavings too. Paper shavings from the scissors.
Oh,
that you used to cut. It smells delicious though,
and it smelled good, right?
It smells so good.
All right. So that's taste. But you said you want to go to smell now. Oh, you smelled that aroma,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
And you said, what is that?
Right.
Smell. So smell. Yeah. Smell controls this also.
It's a big part. So when I had my experience with COVID, in August of last year, I didn't realize that I had lost my sense of smell. And it has been pretty much, it was completely gone. It came back, but just greatly altered. And I just got used to it until Ramadan, right? So one of the things is when you're fasting, because you aren't eating or drinking and stuff, all the bacteria in your mouth builds up. So most of the times people who are fasting have stinky breath.
Okay.
So I'm like,
but can you brush your teeth?
Yeah, but I brush my teeth at 6 a.m.
Oh, okay.
That's it, right? So bacteria builds up from there. Speaking of bacteria, the first thing that you should do when you wake up before you have water is to brush your teeth, because all the bacteria that has built up overnight, you don't want to swallow that. Anyway, so during Ramadan, I'm like, dang, I'm fasting. And my sense of smell is like, I can't smell faint things. I don't know if my breath out here is stinking. And now it's a problem. Now I'm like, I don't want to be a pretty girl with stank breath. So now I'm actively working on regaining my sense of smell fully. But sense of smell is important. I remember during my experience with COVID, I had lit incense and stuff like that. And I'm like, dang, why the incense ain't going off yet? I turn around and it's a full blown, but I couldn't smell anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't smell. What happens? Have you ever smelled some food or saw some food? Because we eat with our eyes first.
Oh, yeah.
And they put all the garlic and aromatic seasoning in it. And you taste it and it don't taste like it smells.
That's true. Yeah, you like it smelled good, but it don't taste good.
It don't taste like
that's somebody who didn't know how to fix that, who didn't use the sauces or the spices good. I really like ginger. I like I like all the good spices. But smell is very very powerful, and that's why we want to get cologne and perfume. And we'll spend money on cologne and perfume. If we couldn't smell, we probably would not spend our money on it. But some people, really like to spend money to smell good, deodorants and, potpourri or
That's
whatever.
another thing. I was like, I can't smell. I don't know if I'm out here funky.
Oh man, you don't? You still?
No. Well, now I've worked that out. I made
okay.
some changes for that, but it was a big deal for me.
How you doing, Denise? We're talking about how the five senses control us unknowingly and has a profound effect on our lives and where we are in our lives. It controls us. But we want to just let you know that you are more powerful than your five senses. You're separate and apart from your five senses. And most people don't know that. Most people think this is them, but it's not you. I mean, you've been programmed to become a slave to your five senses, and society, the system that we live in, is helping to keep you glued and addictive and programmed to the five senses. A lot of us are just enslaved because of the five senses. Most of us are. We do things based on when our senses are calling us to make us do it, and we think that we did it on our own. No, but we're indirect, unwitting slaves, so to speak. We're unwitting slaves. We don't even know that we are doing it. We just said it's us because we think that we are the same. No, your five senses are your five senses. The creator that created us made us have more dominion and power over our five senses. But a lot of us have surrendered that power and become slaves. And it has really shaped and formed our lives in where we are right now. And oftentimes we're more sicker, we're more sadder. And that's because our five senses have just overpowered us until we can't figure it out. So we're having this conversation today because it deals with the mind. And we want you to take back your power that you really have. But you got to think about it. You got to know that you have this power. That's why we're talking about this, just to wake you up, so to speak, to say, hey, this is a new thought. I never thought about that. And the Henderson Financial Group, that's what we all about. We're about thinking, because let me tell you something. Rich people think. Rich people don't work hard. We think hard. Poor people don't think. They work hard. And you can never reach your highest highs with just hard working physically, because the creator is more than physical. The creator is spiritual, and that is thought. That's the biggest, that is the most powerful thing that we can have is thought. And thinkers will rule the world. So we want you to think that and understand that you're not a slave. Wake up. You are the thinker that think the thoughts. And your five senses are separate and apart from really who you are. Take control. Okay. We talked about the detriment of sight. Sight can help you, but it sure got a whole lot of us in problems. Got problems. We talked about, what was the second we talked about?
Taste.
Taste. Taste. Now we just talked about smell.
And it's interesting, before we start talking about the fourth one, I hope that everybody is understanding that we use some senses more than others, or maybe we rely on, or we allow, let me rephrase that, rewind, we allow some senses to have more control over us than others.
That's right.
And so realizing that alone reminds you of the power that you have.
Yes.
So if I allow my sight to control me more than my smell, then I have the control, right? So I just started saying, okay, let me do something about this smell, right? Right. Really active, like, okay, let me figure this out. Had that have been my sight, day one, I would have been all over it, right? Yes. I would have had the surgeries and everything by now. So knowing that we allow the art of allowing, we allow certain senses to have more control over us than others, is a beautiful gift that gives us the ability to say, you know what, since I have the control, let me explore each of them and use them to the way that is going to benefit me and my highest good. Instead of just saying, well, I smelled it, I had to eat it. I seen it, he was fine, I had to date him.
That's right. I tasted, boy, it was good.
I let the smooth taste fool me over and over and over again.
Man. I gotta have it. It tastes so good. Now let's move right into the other part of the five senses. Why don't we go? Here's the big one. Hear what we hear. Wow. I heard her.
I don't really hear. Yeah.
Yes. Boy, you
Some of
Yeah,
them, but you know what? It's helping me. You see,
oh
not being
man.
dependent on my senses so much is helping me.
Years ago, I tried to tell my daughter, she was just blasting. Who was it? 50 Cent or
Everybody, 50 Cent,
everybody?
Trick Daddy,
Big
no, it's
Daddy.
G Unit at that
Oh
time.
my goodness. She had big speakers in her BMW. We can hear her 2 miles away. When we, on the way to the office, we hear boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's icy coming up. Had her, and then now she's paying for it. But Papa Daddy knows best, told her, Hyacinth, But hey, that has come to pass.
And y'all keep saying, when you gonna get your hearing aid? And I'm like, it don't affect me.
But it affects us.
That's your problem.
We talking to Hyacinth, we like, she's too young for talking to Hyacinth. Yeah, Hyacinth, she's talking about, huh? Did you say something? I say, we gonna get a hearing aid. One you can't even see, on this. What? So hearing is such a great sense, but it's twofold. It could really help you out, but boy, it could really mess you up.
Oh yeah,
because you was okay until you heard what he said.
Ooh.
You liked him until you heard what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, imagine if you couldn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
You still like the dude. You
Right.
was okay until you heard
Oh wow.
what they do.
Wow, that's interesting.
You was okay. Matter of fact, you like the people on Fox or MSNBC, and so you heard what they said.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have we got in trouble or changed our whole thought, our whole belief based on
what we
hearing?
heard? Yeah, what you heard.
Wow.
That's interesting.
We were okay until we heard about it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
We liked him, and then we heard he liked everybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Get him out of here. You for the street.
Everybody, man.
Not for the sheep.
We liked her. We liked her, and then we've heard, hey, she loved everybody. Oh my God. If I hadn't heard that, you was about to marry the person.
That's
and
true.
you heard that this happened and you canceled the marriage. Hearing. How has that disrupted that sense? How have that controlled you, what you heard? You like this person, but then you heard that you don't even like the person anymore. Forget about what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done something for years, but you heard them say this one thing and it's over. Think about how that controls who you really are, how it cancels so much. A hearing, just thinking about that. I didn't hear my name. They must don't like me. She got up there and she thanked everybody for that award.
Oh, that's a big one.
She thanked everybody for the award and helped her to get there, but she didn't say my name.
Didn't say me.
I'm so mad at her. I helped her. I was behind there pulling the strings. And when she got up there and she accepted that award, she thanked everybody in the world but me. And I'm so messed up. What I didn't hear just really turned my whole feelings about him or her because they didn't thank me. I didn't hear my name. So I don't like that person no more. Wow.
That's interesting.
That's deep.
It's very deep, just processing all of that. I was also, as you were speaking, I started thinking about, well, let me ask you this. Are you able to, well, I know you can do anything you want to do. Do you listen to audiobooks in your office while you're working?
No, see, I've tried to do that, but I get distracted.
Me too.
I can't because I gotta concentrate on what I'm doing. Some people can work with music and they can read and music on, or they can focus or whatever. I'm not that type of person.
Me too.
I have to be in the silence.
Me too. So
I get a lot of power from the silence.
Yeah, I thought about that because I was thinking like hearing like that in itself is a sign or like a little reminder that you need to be careful what you hear, what you are listening to, what you allow yourself to hear. Because just like you, audiobooks, I can be into a good book, pulling up to the office, and I'm like, oh, I want to hear it, or a good, YouTube,
that
something.
Often happens to me.
And I get here and I just try, and I'm like,
it ain't the same.
It ain't the same.
It ain't
I don't
the
know.
same.
Rewind in 30 seconds.
It ain't the
or
same.
Then I can't. You're not focused on what I'm doing. So hearing and how you are experiencing things auditorily, right? Your auditory senses play an important role, and it is up to you to have some control over your auditory experiences, what you allow yourself to hear. If we want to talk about just metaphysics, I didn't want to drill it down to the law of attraction, but if we want to talk about metaphysics and consciousness and things like that, one of the major principles or acts is being mindful of what you listen to,
Yes.
the words that you speak,
Yes.
the words that you hear, the words that you allow, the conversations that you engage in. So hearing goes beyond, right, which is a big deal. Hyacinth and her limited hearing is also very, very important because it can take you here or it can take you there. Listening to the Science of Getting Rich again in Warrior Training Camp, and in chapter 12, Wallace D. Waddle says every day is either a success or a failure. That is it. What you hear, the news, the conversations you engage in, the gossip, is going to act like that audiobook, right? Mr. Henderson and I just share. We could be into an audiobook. When we walk into this office, if we try it, we already know something is not getting our full attention.
So not.
So as you are journeying through life, and we're going to assume that your goal is to have more successful days than days of failure, what are you hearing? What are you listening to? What are you putting in your mind? Who are you allowing to speak life or death over you? What the music, as much as I love rap music, I am no longer at the stage in my life where I can listen to rap music all day long. There was a time when I had those speakers, I want to listen to the No Love song.
And you weren't in love then.
Right.
And no way you could be in love if you want to listen.
I thought I was. I was out here in these streets, right? But now I cannot choose to listen to that all day long because it's gonna come out, right? So, especially some music you listen to before, what I'm thinking. I'm a dope girl. Like how I'm listening to rap music, and I am in the role and the position that I am in life. So the sense of hearing is so important for you to have some control over. Talk about controlling your senses.
That's why I said these five senses, man. We know the good part of the five senses, but I'm talking about zero in and looking at yourself and being honest and say how you have become a slave to your five senses, and you are more. So Chase Mars, we're talking about the power and control over how the five senses control us, and we unknowingly, not subconsciously, we just haven't thought about it, but they are in control. The five senses, five of them, so they really messed a lot of us up, and we think it's us, but we are separate and apart from our five senses. We are here and created to change, to control, to rule our five senses. But most of us have failed that, and we have become slaves to it. When you were talking about the audiobook, I've been, and you can share, we share, I say, audiobooks. Neville got a great one out. Neville, and it's called The 5 Lessons Masterclass. Oh my God, it's so good.
I have that in print.
You do?
Oh, I read it when I'm in the sauna.
I downloaded it for audio.
Was it a free, or did you use a credit for that?
I used credit for it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But it's so good. I see. I was listening to it and it's talking about the mind and stuff. And it really dissects the Bible metaphorically.
I love that part of it.
Oh my God.
Oh God, I love that.
Oh my God, it's so good. So I was just listening to it coming up to the office, and I planned on continuing when I sat to my desk, and I turned it on. I'm like, I can't do it.
Can't do it.
Because it has to have my undivided attention, because I have to, when I'm in the office, I'm looking at the market, or I'm looking at clients' financial plan stuff. I cannot have something, because it won't, even though it's going to my subconscious mind, but I want to be there and be present. Because, there's science that says if you go to bed with the TV on, whatever the TV is playing, it's going into your subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind never stops, never turns on.
Don't turn off, baby.
So the power and the subconscious mind takes its cue from you, your five senses.
That's right.
And a lot of us are nothing more. We have allowed to become nothing more than what we've read, what we've ate, what we've seen, what we hear. So if you think about, a lot of people are just a subtotal of their experiences.
I love that you said that. I love that you, please say that again. It's so important.
Yeah, a lot of us are just
Mm.
only a subtotal of our experience, what we read, what we heard, what we think, what we taste. We have said that's us,
Mhm.
but that's a lie. It really isn't. But a lot of us identify that's who I am because my daddy did this. That's an experience. My mama did this. That's an experience. I ate chitlins, and that's how I eat chitlins. And I eat beans and rice. That's all I do is eat Chinese food because I'm Asian.
Mhm.
All of that, and that's just me. That is not you.
When you talk about the book, it's so interesting that you mentioned the books that we read. Did you say that? I feel like you said that.
Yeah, what we
Okay,
read,
right.
what we listening to, what we hear.
So today I was listening to an audiobook on my way in here, and the author said the phrase "to be clear," right? And it immediately jogged my memory back to the first time I ever heard that phrase, and that was in 2015. Somebody that was dating at the time said that he used to say to be clear, and I was like, what is this, right? And so I realized, I said, you know what, my education was so limited at that time that I had never heard that phrase, but now that I read more, then I'm able, my language changes. So when Mr. Henderson brings up your experiences and how they play a role in who you are, if you want to know more, you have to pay more, have more control over what you allow in you, because what's in you is going to come out you. What books are you reading? What shows are you watching? What music are you listening to? What conversations are you engaging in?
Yes.
If you are only listening to rap music, the only thing you could talk about or the topics is what they talk about in rap music.
That's right. I'm a killer. So and so that beat, that so and so. So I did this. I slayed that. Da, 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 da. I jacked him. I took this. Then
if you're watching reality TV, these housewife shows, and they talk to each other any kind of way and
curse
cuss
each
and
other
doing
out.
this.
Oh my God.
Do you remember we were in that restaurant and they were filming and I was like,
Yes.
this is not my reality.
Yes. We stopped at a restaurant and they started filming
They made us sign disclosures.
Yeah, and they was doing a reality show at the restaurant,
Mhm.
and they said, "Do you mind?" And we thought we could eat there and listen to all that crazy talk, that psycho babble. And me and Antonio, I just started drowning out. Heisey was like, "Dad, I cannot hear this. Let's go." So we left.
But for some people, that's normal.
Yes.
Some people that it's normal for you to talk that way to people. That's why don't talk to me any kind of way, honey. It's not gonna go well. However, what you allow in your environment, is so important, and you have to be radical about it. So go back to Wallace. Don't say Hyacinth said it. Every day is a success or a failure. Now, if you allow yourself to allow people to just word vomit all kind of negativity and stuff into your realm, into your vortex, just because, well, I'm listening to them, I'm just being a good listener or a good friend. Don't blame anyone but yourself. You are going to have to boss up and nip that in the bud. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that. No, I can't. I can't hear that right now. I can't hear. Oh, okay. You're gonna have to do that.
Or you can tell them, like I often tell people, come on, look on the bright side of things. You know.
I told you, I told her I love her so much. One day she called me when we were getting her car done, and she said, "I said, how you doing? Well, people dying." I said, "I don't want to hear that." I said, "I done told you already. Stop watching that news. I don't know nobody that died. I don't know what you're talking about." Okay,
you told my mother that?
I told your mother that.
Oh.
This was about 2 weeks ago. That's like one of my favorite people because she called. I'm like, "Granny, okay, chipper." I'm okay. Well, people dying and oh no, what are you talking about?
Yeah, turn that page, get off that frequency
Immediately.
Right?
Now, what you need? Because I'm not ready to go down that path. And I told her before, I said, "You lucky I don't pay your bills. Because if I did, I would on my app on the phone disable all the news channels from off your TV. You'll be turning on the TV talking about, I can't get CNN."
When I was there last night and I was doing a puzzle with her, because I do puzzles with my mother on Tuesdays and Saturday nights. And I was there and she's like, "Hey, Junior, look at this paper right here. Look at this. I got to sign this." And when I said, "Mom, it's junk mail."
I had that mail rerouted, baby.
You 84 years old. Ain't nobody giving you nothing free. What are you telling? You got to sign that. I'm on that junk. Throw that out. That's junk. That's junk.
She reroute her mail.
And then she like, "Hey, so she started talking that doom. So I said, "Listen, I'm getting ready to go. I don't know what you studying in church, but they ain't studying. I ain't on that trip. I'm getting ready to go." Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I said, "Just call me if you need something."
That's right. That's right. What you hear, what you allow yourself to hear, what you allow yourself to hear is so important. Somebody says divorce negative people, places, and things. I agree 1000%. There are some people that you're going to have to divorce and say, I completely have to disconnect. However, you might find yourself in a bubble.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, people have been largely conditioned to complain.
Yes.
They don't even realize it. Oh, how you know my knee hurt? Oh, this is what are you talking about? They have been conditioned to complain. So sometimes, depending on the relationship, you may find yourself reconditioning people. So I know you conditioned to complain when you have these conversations with those people, but if you shut down a conversation and not shut it down, like I did Granny sometimes, but redirect, and that came after me consistently redirecting her. Like I would be taking her to get her hair done, and it's raining, and she'll be like, "It's an awful day.
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
It's such an awful day. It's raining.
It's awful." I said, "Mom, you know the universe, the world needs rain,
right?"
I said, the plants and all that, it ain't a bad day. It's a good day.
It's a beautiful. It's just raining. I said the grass is so happy to receive the rain. So sometimes you can divorce negative people. Oftentimes you're going to have to redirect because it's a cloud of complaining conditioning that is largely over people. They don't realize it. But when you engage and listen, just like I told you, he getting all these shots and complaining he can't walk, his back hurt, his knee hurt, but you eating everything under the sun moving.
I was riding my bike. I just seen a guy who I've seen in a long time.
Mhm.
And he was smoking a cigarette while he's waiting in line for a kidney.
See what I'm
I said,
saying?
why you messing up? I said, why you playing, man?
Yeah.
You waiting in line
Right.
for a kidney, but you smoking a cancer stick.
Right. It's something I would get you out of the line.
You got a line.
I would get out of the line.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so those you are, how you doing, Miss Vanessa
Miller? Yes.
So we want to recap because we got one more to talk about. But we're talking about because this subject affects each and every one of us. Nobody is immune. We're talking about the five senses and how the five senses have made each and every one of us, most of us, slaves. You have to be conscious enough to pay attention and have a commitment not to let these five senses, these some bad mothers, boy. Woo! You talking about some invisible weapons? Man, the power of sight, how sight has messed you up. All of us have been victims to sight. What we saw changed our mind. What we saw, that's what we believe now because we've seen it. Come on, man. Juicy Lucy, hey, I gotta marry her. I mean, come on, we've seen it. And then the other one, what we taste, a lot of us are like overweight. We shouldn't be eating that. We got diabetes, we got high cholesterol, we eating rice plus mashed potatoes, plus
yams, plus macaroni, plus cornbread.
Oh man,
plus
we eat
collard
all that,
greens.
man. Good collard greens, it's the
You gotta
holidays.
mix the collard greens up with the cornbread.
It's our tradition, you know what I mean? Hey, that's what we taste. I mean, all of these and what we hear. If you wouldn't have heard that, man, you'd have been okay. As soon as you heard it, your whole vibe changed. You know what I mean? What you hear, what you see, what you smell, what you taste. What was that last one?
Touch.
Woo, touch. Lord.
Before you get into that, hold on. As you broke all that down so beautifully and you talked about weapons, your five senses as weapons.
Yeah.
If you really understand how to master and control your five senses, the other weapons that other people present to you, you'll see right through them.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see right
bat it down.
You'll see through it because you've done so much work and it takes work.
Yeah, it does.
You've done so much work with the weapons that matter. Your five senses that when this come, I ain't gotta be scammed. Now I'm like, for the first time ever, I'm thinking about changing my number because every day I get a text message. Congratulations, take this survey, Costco, this, all these things like that. In my mind, I know I'm in tune that you don't get something for nothing, right?
That's right.
So I've worked with, I'm consistently working with my senses, having control, having discipline, that I'm not clicking nobody link because I know that it don't work that way.
No, get a phone call, Amazon, you just won this.
Yes, correct. So mastering, understanding the power that you have over your five senses will help you in so many areas of your life. Like this is 101. This is the kindergarten you need. Like this is life 101. Mastering your five senses. What you say if I was king? You would put one of the classes?
Yeah.
Mastering.
It'd be part of a class. If I was king, it'd be prerequisite in order for you to graduate high school, college, you have got to pass these tests, understanding the pitfalls of your five senses, how to master yourself, not your five senses making you a slave. The last one, because I got a 130
Touch.
I got a 130 appointment. So the last one is touch. Woo! If I listen, he touched me and it was over.
My knees got weak.
She touched me. She touched me and it was over. I was good until she touched me.
Right.
Ooh, weak in the knees. When
Right.
I touched her.
It's
When I touched her, oh my God.
Now we singing.
Man, the power of touch. How many of us have got in trouble because we touched it?
Mhm.
We just felt it. My aunt, she's 85 years old. She said for a woman, little girl growing up, she said, you be careful with them boys.
Mhm.
And girl say, I'm gonna be okay. She said, nah, all it takes is just a little touch. That's all it takes. Touch. All that what you thinking.
Right.
Go out the door.
Right.
Now you careful. Now he
Right.
touch you. All that what I done told you.
Right.
Go out the door.
One little touch.
The
Wow.
power of the touch.
Okay.
Touch.
Hmm.
How? I want you all to think about this. Have touch, but you touched it. You touched it. Feel it.
Hmm.
How has it served you? Are you controlling the touch, or is the touch controlling you?
Hmm.
Touch. And, you know, when I think about touch, I don't know why I start thinking about feeling, because a lot of people on weed and drugs and some kind of substance because of the feeling.
Mhm.
You feel a certain way. We're
They
slaves. We're
touch me.
masters, you
That's
know?
right.
It's touch. The touch. We have become enslaved by the touch, by the feelings, by what we hear, by what we taste, and what we see. And we think it's us. We think that we're in control. No.
Another point that comes up when you think about touch, tangible, right? Touch and tangible, that's something that you can, right? A lot of times people are limiting their growth and their expansion because all of the secrets that aren't really secrets deal with metaphysics, right? So the four things that you rule the universe is matter, energy, time, and space. You can't touch any of these things. So when we start talking about, for layman's terms, like the law of attraction, when we start talking about, being in control, because people, it's not something that they can touch or tangibly see, or like, okay, I can work on this car and know that if I wake up every day and sand the paints off this car and then put a new coat on it, I'm going to be able to, with my hands, touch it and see the result. However, me working on my minds, me working on my spirit, me working and mastering, being the alchemist that I am here to be, and working with energy and matter and all these things, since I can't see that, I can't touch that, it don't really interest me. You know what I mean? So when you think about Neville, and that's why I love that book, The 5 Lessons. It's a series of lectures of, I guess at one time people came in and listened to him give these talks, right? I love that he connected it with the Bible.
Oh man,
because so many people can relate to the Bible.
Yes.
And they take it because they, for one reason or another, they take it as literal language and literal gospel.
Yes.
So for him to take metaphysical teachings and tie it into something that is familiar, it makes it something that people are, I can connect it and now I can expand.
Yes.
So that touch is definitely one of those senses that we have to be able to say, wait a minute, just because I can't touch it, just things with sight.
Yes.
Doesn't mean it's not real.
Yes.
Nobody didn't see me knock his phone on the table.
Yes.
But if you left this phone up here and nobody else is around, or nobody saw me steal something from you, you know what I mean? Like, dang, if you could really get past that touch, the tangible, and move into the space that there is so much magic. And I'm using the word magic because that word, lights your fire, but it really is your birthright as a human, right? There's so much magic in the things that you cannot touch. I think that's like expanding in itself.
It's amazing. But I love this conversation. But I got 4 minutes.
That's why you're not paying me no mind.
4 minutes to get to this conference call. I mean, I got a call from an organization. They buy 1,500 homes in a month. And we having
Okay.
a conference call. I need to find out more about that. And I love this
Mhm.
conversation, but my
Mhm.
mind is thinking I got 4 minutes to get downstairs, to get in my office for this conference call.
So you're
And I,
not present.
well,
I got you. All right, all right. I'm gonna tease you. Okay, we got 4 minutes.
yes,
We got 4 minutes.
yes.
Rashad Mars says y'all should start a church. You know, the
Sure.
interesting thing is I used to say, I can't be no preacher. I drink, I cuss, I do it. And slowly but surely, I don't drink no more. I've been working diligently on the cussing. Like, so I'm like, you know what? Look at that. You trying to send me a sign.
Yeah.
But here we go. Thank you so much for tuning in to Transitions, Life, Lessons, and Legacy. I am Hyacinth Henderson, along with
Robert Henderson Jr., president, founder
yes.
of the Henderson Financial Group. You can always look for us and listen more about to this on Facebook, YouTube.
Mhm.
Also, go to our website, www.thehendersonfinancialgroup.com. www.thehendersonfinancialgroup.com.
Yes. And for those of you who are clients, keep an eye out for your emails. We are not doing a monthly webinar this month for April because we still have so many annual reviews to do. So I've been pumping those emails out, and we also are going to text y'all now.
Yes.
So if you don't respond to the email, because our email open rate was like 50%, you will receive a text message in 3 days. It's really us. We're texting you now to remind you about your appointment. And then I'm going to leave you a voicemail as well. So be on the lookout for that. Today's Wednesday. The next time we will be live is on Saturday at 9 a.m. for the Understanding Money show. At 9 a.m., followed up by Understanding Money Part 2 at 10:15. Then on Tuesdays, the guys come in. That's Antonio Woodbury and Tavares Jones at 12:30-ish for the Rising Solution. Until then, y'all stay safe and share this. I believe this was a very good one. Share it with
stuff, some
with
new
people.
thought
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? Be honest with yourself and tell yourself the truth. Don't lie to yourself. How are your five senses really helping you or hurting you?
Yeah. Are they helping you? Is your ability or inability to control, are you controlling your five senses in a way that either help you be successful
Or are they controlling you?
or failure?
Right.
Yes. All right, y'all. Until next time. Peace.
Peace.